The physician that did the autopsy wrote that Charles did not contain a single drop of blood. His heart was the size of a peppercorn, his lungs corroded, his intestines rotten and gangrenous. He had a single testicle, black as coal, and his head was full of water. Did inbreeding—
Yo, how was it? What? What? This man wasn't human. What the hell? He was a bag of minerals, like... Finally, a video where living in Kentucky comes in handy. Inbreeding. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new reaction. And today we're watching when Royal Inbreeding went horribly wrong. Hey, like I said, I live in Kentucky. You know, it's called Kin-Tucky for a reason. Kin-Tucky. So inbreeding ain't new around here. But apparently the Royals was doing it back in the day. I don't know. I have no idea. That's why we're watching. We're here to learn, damn it. So yeah, we're about to get into it. If y'all new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 100K. Once we do, I'm getting a UK themed tattoo. Drop a like on the video if you want to see more inbreeding reaction. Let me know what y'all think about this video down in the comments. But now, let's get into it.
When we talk about inbreeding, we are referring to reproducing with someone who is closely related in terms of genetics. We see this happen a lot when dogs are bred, and many people are critical of it. You see, when a pooch's mom and dad are not genetically related, that puppy gets diverse genes. This is a good thing, as if both were the same or similar and carried a faulty gene, the puppy would also get that fault. With a mix, it has more choice and can override the bad gene. As one dog breeding website puts it, some inbred dogs are born sick and die sick. With that in mind, how does inbreeding bode for humans? That's what we'll find out today.
Hell, most people I know, they can't tell the difference between their aunt, their sister, and their mom.
In this episode of the Infographics Show, when Royal Inbreeding went wrong. So we know if you have offspring with someone genetically close to you, like a sister or a cousin, it might mean that the child inherits two recessive genes. Sibling to sibling, we are told, is far riskier than reproducing with a cousin or aunt, or perhaps for some strange folks, grandmother. One scientist says this is really not a good idea. It might be harmful to that child, but that is not always the case. We'll give you a rundown of things that might happen. The child may have genetic disorders. It might be short. It may lack immune system protection, have an asymmetrical face, have a badly functioning heart, or might die soon after birth.
Or it might drive a 1992 F-150 with a mullet.
Let's now have a look at some people that took the risk and what happened to their kids. We chose royals because it was sometimes the nobility that believed inbreeding was good because they mistakenly thought mixing with their own kind would produce a kind of super offspring of pure blood. Another thing is that people who are royal blood don't exactly have a massive pool of people they can choose to procreate with.
What the hell?
Usually, they must stick with their own kind. King Tutankhamun. This is the Egyptian pharaoh that ruled from 1332 to 1323 BC. King Tut was one of a kind because his mother was not just his father's wife, she was also his father's sister. We know this because of tests on mitochondrial DNA. How did that work out for Mr. Tut? Well, scientists tell us he went through hell, that his life was a perpetual suffering. It's said that he spent most of his life sitting because he suffered from something called Kohler's disease. This is a rare disease that starts in childhood, and it basically means the bones in the feet die and the foot just collapses.
What?
It's also
Yo, that's wild. Have y'all ever seen Hills Have Eyes? That's what I think of when I think of inbreeding, bro. Just nasty, disformed, 3 eyeballs, weird feet.
Extremely painful. He had some aesthetic setbacks too, in a large overbite and feminine thighs. Add to that a cleft palate and a bent spine. We are also told that he didn't move his head.
Wait. Feminine thighs? So he was just walking around thick as, like, double cheeked up?
Well, because of the 7 vertebrae in his neck that were fused together. We know that this man had 130 walking sticks, and that he used to shoot arrows while he was sitting, said Secretary General Zahi Hawass of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. Okay, so now you can see why you probably shouldn't inbreed. King George III. The English king is sometimes called Mad King George, and it's thought his madness might have been the result of inbreeding. It wasn't even thought he would survive, as little George came out 2 months prematurely. The House of Hanover was notorious for cousin-to-cousin marriage, sometimes first cousin, sometimes second or third. It was happening all over Europe.
What's the limit, okay? Like, asking for a friend, okay, what's the limit? Like, I'm pretty sure somewhere in America, you can legally marry, like, your second or third cousin. Like, is it Kentucky? Maybe. I don't know. I might need to find out and call Billy and let him know. But no, like, for real, you can legally marry, I think it's, like, either second or third cousin somewhere in America. And, like, bro, that's disgusting.
Europe, with one essayist in 1802 writing that every hereditary monarch in Europe was insane. It said that the Mad King who lost America suffered from a genetic blood disorder called polyphyra. This made him ache a lot, but also turned his urine blue. It's also said that sometimes he just couldn't stop talking, and other times he would have convulsions. When he got older, he was almost blind with cataracts and had terrible rheumatism. In 1801, George was taken to the hospital in a straitjacket, and he was not seen again in public. He died crazy and didn't know who he was. Charles II of Spain. Now we turn to Habsburg inbreeding, a house with a very shallow gene pool. We should mention again that inbreeding between European nobility was very common, but not all offspring ended up badly made. This wasn't the case for Charles II, whose father and mother were uncle and niece. This had a nasty effect on his
uncle and niece? Oh.
Appearance, and he was nicknamed the Bewitched. One historian writes that not-so-bonny King Charles was short, lame, epileptic, senile, and completely bald before 35.
Damn.
Always on the verge of death, but repeatedly baffling Christendom by continuing to live. It took him until 4 years old to talk, and he didn't walk until he was 8. He could barely speak because he had something called the Habsburg lip. This meant the lower jaw stretched out way farther than the upper part, making him look quite horrendous. He also had a very large tongue, which didn't help matters at all when it came to speaking. It's blamed on royal intermarriage, and historians tell us that the Habsburgs were the inbreeding champions of Europe. He died at just age 39.
Listen, there's so many, there's football, all these other different sports, there's so many other things you can be champions of. Inbreeding is not one of them, damn it.
9 after being sick since birth. One writer said, "We are dealing with a man who died of poison 200 years before he was born." He was referring to 2 centuries of inbreeding. The physician that did the autopsy wrote that Charles did not contain a single drop of blood. His heart was the size of a peppercorn, his lungs corroded, his intestines rotten and gangrenous. He had a single testicle, black as coal, and his head was full of water. Did inbreeding kill
how was it? What? This man wasn't human. What the hell? He was a bag of minerals.
Habsburgs off? That's what a lot of people say. Papers have been written about this. One such paper says, this data suggests that inbreeding depression for infant and child survival could be occurring in the Spanish Habsburg families as a consequence of prolonged consanguineous marriages. King Chulalongkorn's big family, the great king of Thailand, born in 1853, was responsible for modernizing the country and so is very much revered. He abolished slavery, reformed government, built modern hospitals, and introduced a modern system of law. He also had 4 wives, all half-sisters. This was a busy man, as he also had 32 consorts, and it's thought 116 concubines. The numbers differ from source to source, but who's counting? In total, he had 33 sons and 44 daughters. Many of those kids lived long lives.
This man just wanted his own personal family army.
Others were sickly and lived very short lives. Princess Nakiaina's short-lived child.
What?
It's said in Hawaii incest was a privilege, and this princess married her brother, Prince Kauikeauli. The Christian missionaries took a dim view of this. They had a child, and it died shortly after being brought into the world. The princess never recovered, and she died not long after that. Tsarevich Alexei Nikolaevich. Little Alexei was heir to the throne of the Russian Empire, but his life was not a long one. The youngest of 5 children, he was born with hemophilia, when blood doesn't clot. Now it's thought that the reason for this disease was because the young boy was a descendant of Queen Victoria. In fact, lots of people related to the 19th century British Queen bled out. It was even called the royal disease. It spread, of course, because all these royals were inbreeding, and as we said at the start, that doesn't go down well, as recessive genes with recessive genes means faulty kids.
Damn.
Queen Victoria's son, Prince Leopold, died at 31 of a brain hemorrhage. Her grandson, Prince Frederick of Hesse and by Rhine, met a similar fate. Her great-grandson Prince Waldemar of Prussia bled to death, as did Lord Leopold Mountbatten, grandson of...
One freaking nosebleed and these guys are done. Like, one bad allergy, you sneeze the wrong way, your life's over. Like,
the Great Queen. Great-grandson Prince Heinrich of Prussia went the same way, as did two of her descendants, Infante Alfonso and Infante Gonzalo of Spain. Why, oh why did these people not venture a bit farther when looking for a suitable mate? Queen Maria the First.
Bro, you hear there's all these billions and millions of fish in the sea. Stop fishing in your own pond, damn it. Jeez.
Other mad royal, Maria I of Portugal, was said to go into fits of hysteria quite often. During her rule from 1777 to 1816, two of her kids died of smallpox, which didn't help her condition. She would stay alone howling and crying, and it's said that many people in this family suffered from mental diseases. The blame is said to be all the inbreeding that went on. Both her grandfathers suffered from mental problems too. Maria ended up marrying her uncle, and one of her sons married his aunt. Enough said. Elizabeth of Austria. This is another member of the family-loving Habsburgs.
You know, it's kind of sad because, like, you know, they're losing their life because of what their ancestors, the choice their ancestors made hundreds of years ago. Like, yeah, you could also be like, you know what? I'm a little messed up. I don't think I'm a kiss my cousin today. All right, I'm just saying. Probably don't want to do that. You know, look at me. I got water in my head. Don't want to do it. All right, but like still, what they have and like what's wrong with them, it's not their fault. It's their uncle or dad or brother or whatever the hell they want to call it.
Beth, aka Cece, married at just 16 years old. The groom was her cousin, but as you know, for a Habsburg, this was the norm. The Habsburg family tree looks more like a family branch. She came from the very inbred house of Wittelsbach. She suffered from depression most of her life and became obsessive about her looks to the point of starving herself. She was eventually murdered. Things got better over time, especially in Europe, and nobility started to practice outbreeding. However, the practice is still common in some parts of the world, notably Africa and the Middle East. The New York Times wrote a piece in 2003 stating that in Saudi Arabia, people were just starting to see how bad this practice could be. Many kids born to cousins who had married cousins were born with all kinds of disease, from spinal muscular atrophy to other serious genetic disorders. Across the Arab world today, an average of 45% of married couples are related, said a doctor the Times interviewed from the King Faisal Specialist Hospital in Riyadh. Public health officials in the country warned of disorders that might occur due to inbreeding, including anemia, hemoglobin deficiency, deafness, and even muteness. It seems things haven't changed much either, as in 2017 reports stated that inbreeding was still costing Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Health millions of rial. It didn't just happen in the Middle East. There's a famous story about inbreeding in
God. Yo! Come on, bro! It's not that bad here! Yo! No. It's Eastern Kentucky, okay? Them dudes up in the freaking hills and the mountains, they're wild. God, what happened? What happened?
Kentucky, USA, about the Fugate family in the 19th century.
Okay,
a rare disease happened in this family called methemoglobinemia, which turned people's skin blue.
The real life Smurfs, okay?
States as a result of a coincidental meeting of recessive genes, intermarriage, and inbreeding, members of the Fugate family were born with a rare condition that made them visibly discolored. We guess these blue people couldn't exactly hide the fact that they were the result of inbreeding. After hearing all this, would you take the plunge and dare breed with, say, a third cousin? Do you
No! Infographics, why are you even asking that, bro? Well, now we know. Alright guys, that is going to do it for when royal inbreeding went horribly wrong. I would say, yeah, sleeping with your cousin, not a good idea, so don't do it. But if y'all want to see more reactions like this, let me know by hitting that like button. Not necessarily inbreeding reactions, but you know, maybe we can. I guess there's a whole Fugate family y'all want to watch that. If y'all are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 100K. Once we do, I'm getting a UK themed tattoo. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure I go out today, spread love, spread kindness, do something nice for somebody today. I love you guys so much, I really do. Appreciate your reaction. I'm out. Peace.